Hey, 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 hey. Music Therapy Laz here. Part 3. 3. Or in Hungary we go like this. Music Therapy Laz here. Doing part 3 of the tabletop and Telecaster test stain color build. So, yes, this piece of wood, this massive chunk of wood right here. Oh my god. This is going to be a Telecaster body right here. I don't know if you can see the Telecaster drawing right there. But I'm going to use this piece of Redwood that I made these tabletops out of. And I'm probably going to do this exact same kind of driftwood looking stain that I created. Copying somewhat the acacia wood table that we bought at another store. And I'm just going to show you guys this process. I don't know if I'm too far or too close from the camera to show this, but I'm doing a light sanding of the first coat of varnish that went over all the stain work, and I'm going over the grain, and I'm kind of knocking down some of the color so that the stain kind of comes through. You can see the grain. I'll do a close-up of it, but this is a very simple part of the process. And then we're going to go out, and then we're going to come back and early evening, or I guess maybe later in the evening, or later in the afternoon, early in the evening when it cools down a bit, because right now it's like 90 degrees out here in the shade. Way too hot to apply any finish. And you know, if I had a spray booth, I had things set up, I had a garage to do this kind of thing where I could spray this, I'd probably spray it so I got a more perfect even coating. But even hand brushed, I think it's going to come out pretty cool looking. As long as you go with the grain and you're not doing it when it's too hot, you're alright. So like here where there's knots, I'm doing a swirly motion like this, so I kind of bring the knots out a little bit, and you'll see with the close-ups what that looks like. Elsewhere I'm kind of going in the motion in the direction of the grain, so I'm knocking down some of the color off of it. You'll see what I mean, because the first coat was on there, you know, fairly thin, and thin enough so that when I'm sanding, it's knocking down some of the color out of here, right, which I want. So I want to bring the grain out so it kind of shows. So you'll see what I mean when I show this to you from a close-up view. But this won't take long. I already did half of it. I don't want to bore you guys too much. Then we're going to head down to Santana Row in Santa Clara, or what's known as San Jose or Silicon Valley here in the Bay Area. Yeah, by the way, I'm wearing my stealth pink Know Your Gear shirt. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the Know Your Gear dude there with the guitar? He's doing the, it's the stand-up one with the, you know, the horns. So I wanted to wear that in honor of my good buddy that I've never met, but I feel like he's a friend that he's never met as well. Phil McKnight, because I probably wouldn't be doing this kind of guitar stuff if it wasn't for people like him and Johnny Bean and J. Leonard J, Dave Reese of DR Guitars, another guy who makes guitars and very inspirational, and you know how he's picked up lessons from our good friend and pedal builder out there, Lawrence Petros of LPD Pedals. Dave took lessons from him, and he says, man, I learned so much from that guy in just those couple like months of lessons or whatever, right? And maybe when I know I have the time and I can really dedicate the time to doing in-person or online lessons, I definitely give that guy a call to do that, because, you know, he's got some of the same heroes I do. I mean, I'm a big Van Halen fan too, but really what got me into playing was playing guitar, and he got me interested in, because what Van Halen could do was so scary. I'm like, I'm never going to be able to do that. But, you know, some of the Randy Rhoads stuff, even though that guy was incredible, it wasn't like so like impossible sounding to me. It's just some technique and some, you know, classical stuff that I was always into. So yeah, he's big time into that. Dave Reese as well, big time into, you know, Rhodes and that kind of sound. That kind of, maybe not necessarily the sound per se. His live sound was great, by the way. Randy Rhodes' live sound, because I did get to see him live. One of the lucky few, you know, back in the 80s. CU Event Center in Boulder, Colorado. It was a stormy night, and they didn't have, most of their set was missing, so they had their gear, but most of the set was missing. They didn't have the set to set up in time. So they were actually offering people money back if they wanted to catch a future show. And I feel sorry for anyone who actually took that opportunity, or whatever you want to call it, because then a couple months later, Randy, tragically died in that airplane accident. I always want to say helicopter because so many stars die in helicopters, right? But yeah, it was an airplane accident. Anyway, bottom line is, at some point, I'm going to be building this Telecaster build, and greatly influenced by people like Dave Reese, and Phil McKnight, Jay Leonard J with some of his cool Telecaster mods. I'm definitely going to probably do a lot of similar things to my Telecaster build that he's done to his Telecasters, like flip the plate and set up a Bixby, because I like having a wah-wah kind of something. I can live without it, of course, but I kind of think it would be cool, to have that on a Telecaster. So, we'll see how well it does on a Redwood body. Redwood is such a soft wood, I'm not sure, but, that's what this is all about. It's all about doing your own thing and having fun with something, right? And apparently Redwood makes the sound as a tone wood is supposedly softer, darker, not as bright as like typical pine and or ash or whatever other woods that you might use on a Telecaster, right? So yeah, we're almost done here. I'll show you guys the close-up, and then we're gonna head out of Dodge and go have a little afternoon Memorial Day snack somewhere, just hang out, enjoy the day. My mom actually is heading to the airport right now to visit family in Hungary, and she'll probably meet it with my daughter hopefully within the next week or so. She's going to be going to college there in Budapest, which I'm really excited for her about. She got accepted to one of the best universities in all of Hungary, which is pretty cool. She's a good student. And anyway, so here we are. We're done with this now. I'm just going to wipe it down a little bit. I have Scotch-Brite, of course, for the edges. I don't necessarily need to knock the edge down too much. You don't want to over sand the edges here. Just a little bit. Light sanding with a 320 grit paper, by the way. And you could even do this wet if you really wanted to go crazy, but I don't think it's necessary. Off the first coat here, it's kind of, it's okay for it to be a little on the rougher side. And then successive coats, I'll probably go much lighter on the sanding. Just very, very light sanding. And then clear coating with that spar urethane made by Helmsman Spar Urethane by Minwest. That's what I'm using on this, because this is outdoor furniture, and that's an outdoor spar urethane, which is, meant for marine applications, basically, right? It's a marine spar urethane. It's cool that they make that out of water-based stuff nowadays. In the old days, it was all alkyd, oil-based, and really bad for the planet and all. Not that liquid plastic, which is what we're dealing with here, is all that much better for the environment, but it's a lot better than that stuff is. So, here we go. Yeah, I don't have it screwed down yet. The top's not attached yet, so I can move it around if I need to. While I'm working on it, I got my dollar store rags here. As you can see, that sun is definitely coming on, isn't it? Woo, hot. Hot. So tonight, when I get back, and it cools down to maybe around 70 or so, which might not be till like 8 o'clock, if I'm lucky. I'm gonna put coating on this and the other table that's over there. So let me grab the camera off there, show you guys how this now looks. Grab it from the correct side here. Sorry about any noises here. So yeah, let's get it out of the bright sun. So what do you think? See what I mean about when it's knocked down like that? Looks cool. You don't see those streaks really anymore because and sand it out a little bit. And maybe took off a little too much here, but I can always add a tiny bit of stain to there if I need to on this next coat. But we'll see how it looks. It's supposed to look rustic and all worn out, right? So, there we go. Music Therapy Laz here. Phil McKnight shirt. That's right. Know your gear. Just telling you all to have a good Memorial Day. Remember our fallen and celebrate life as we are, you know, privileged or I guess whatever you want to call it. We're lucky to have the life we have. You know, many people work hard for it and many have died for it. So let's remember our veterans and those who have fallen. You know, it's a tough world out there. There's a lot of crazy things going on, but as a musician and as a creative person, I try to bring some happiness to the world, and that's why I'm showing you guys this, and that's why I'm doing this video, so you guys can, you know, break into a little of your own creative energy and bring some you know, love and happiness into the world. So with that, at the end here, Music Therapy Laz, reminding you that the secret to tone is in your mind, but the feel comes from your heart. Put them together, make some music, and rock on. Laters.